So looking at hard feed wheats, KWS Carrying been a very successful wheat. Certainly can't knock its yield potential. It keeps yielding year after year. I think it's got a reasonably good specific weight. You know, it's a high yielding variety, no doubt about it. I don't think it's ever been a clean variety, and certainly now with this yellow rust now what's affecting it, it is quite a dirty variety because the septoria is not that good either. It's an older variety. It's got midge resistance. It's got that slightly early maturity, but yep, high yielding. But the question is, are you prepared to have that input into a dirty variety like the old varieties used to be? If we look at another older variety, Gravity from RGT, as you can see, I do like this variety. I think it's a huge biomass variety, high tillering variety, has huge yield potential, but as you can see the yellow rust is holding up. The septoria is not the best, but I think the beauty of this variety is it is such a high tillering variety. If you can keep it standing, this variety will produce the seed, there's no doubt about it. It's got midge, it's got a reasonable specific weight, it's a good variety. I just think it's been superclassed by some of the newer varieties. But it won't surprise me if it's one of the highest yielding varieties this coming season. So Gleam from Syngenta, high yielding variety, one of the biggest market share varieties, and I think it'll remain the same this coming season. As you can see, it picks up a lot of yellow rust, that's something to be aware of, but I think its septoria resistance stacks up. It has reasonably good specific weight. It looks like it's a good variety in a second wheat situation. You know, it's got a lot of ticks, this variety. When people say it's shorter strawed than Skyscraper, well, it's not actually, it's taller than Skyscraper here. You need to get PGRs right on it, but again, I think it's a pretty robust package, and that's why it will remain one of the biggest varieties this season. So the hard feed wheat from Syngenta again, Graham. I do like this variety. I think it's a superb variety. Continental type, I like to think of this as a JB Diego type. It won't be the highest yielding variety, but actually it'll always do 102, 103. I think it's got very good disease resistance. The yellow rust is holding up. The septoria is good. On top of that, you've got a good specific weight, that's slightly early maturity. It doesn't have orange blossom midge, something to be aware of, certainly in some areas, but as a variety, I think it ticks a lot of boxes. So a new variety, hard feed wheat from Syngenta Insider. As you can see, tall variety, and it was certainly giving Skyscraper a run for its money for its yield potential. As you can see, it's not as clean as Skyscraper. The yellow rust isn't good, the brown rust isn't good. One thing it does have good septoria resistance, it does have a good specific weight. Certainly it's weaker straw than LG Skyscraper, so you're going to have to be good with your PGRs. Again, you know, you've got to decide whether you want to spend high input fungicides onto these type of varieties. Certainly it has something good for the later drilling slot. It seems to outperform most varieties for that late drill sector. But to me, it's a high input variety because of the disease on it. And then looking at KWS Kinetic, which is the new one from KWS. Unfortunately, I think the yellowness is too bad. You know, as a variety, it has very good traits. It's short and stiff, early maturity, it's got midge, it's got a good specific weight. But do we really want to be growing varieties what are this dirty? You know, at the end of the day, there's a risk associated with varieties like this. But it will yield, there's no doubt about it. But again, you have to decide what fungicide cost you want to put into a variety. So a hard feed, what didn't actually get listed last year, which I thought was a strong contender. It's another variety from KWS, it's called Parking. As you can see, it's a short and stiffer variety, very good disease resistance for its yellow rust. Septoria is acceptable, but as you can see, it's got some really good traits. It's got midge resistance, it's got a good specific weight, and it's got early maturity. And certainly that's a variety what actually does tick a lot of boxes, and certainly growers do need these types of varieties moving forward. So I thought I'd mention that because I think it will take some market share this year. If we look at another variety what's of interest, certainly looking at genetics moving forward. You know, this is Theodore. You know, we made a variety called Stig about 10 years ago. I mean, Stig was an outstanding variety. This looks like Stig. Unfortunately, I think Theodore used the same as Stig. That always yielded 100%. And on top of that, the specific weight is not good. But the beauty why I want to show this is what we can do as plant breeders. You know, the disease resistance on this is superior to most varieties, and that's where we need to be in the future, to be quite honest.